I'm sure most of you would have at some point of your life thought of getting a decent pair of wireless earphones, but the problem is finding one within your budget. If money is not an object, then problem solved. However, to most of us, money is always an issue. So is it possible to find a wireless earphone that is decent in quality and yet affordable? I'm here to find out. Mi, the brand that has already become a household name for their reputation of manufacturing reasonable quality cell phones at a very reasonable price. Fast forward a few years later, the same cannot be said for them, as they are like all companies moving forward into the higher tier and competing with the big guns. That being said, their cell phones are still slightly relatively cheaper comparing spec to spec, but I'm not interested in talking about their cell phones. I'm interested in talking about this. The Mi AirDots, their first own true wireless earphones. I bought this all the way back just before the Christmas of 2019 from a Shopee from a China seller at $55 with free shipping, which is rather suspicious at that given time because the origin retail quoted by me is 99 ringgit or thereabouts, but hey, it's half the price, so why not? Not going at this price is like not going into Daiso and not buying something that is absolutely useless to you. Prices of the AirDots have risen since then, true, but not by significant much. I think you can get one probably about $66 or $80 at Shopee, but be beware because you will find a lot of counterfeits around. And I cannot understand why you are trying to make something already cheaper. Shipping was surprisingly quick as it took the seller less than 2 weeks to complete the order from China, but disappointingly it arrived with a defect. Somehow the right earphone will not hold charge, so I lodged a complaint to the seller. The seller promised to send me a new one for 1 ringgit, so I paid him and he shipped a new one to me in about the same time. So customer experience wise, super satisfactory. And thankfully the second one came without any issues at all. The casing is made entirely out of plastics and I gotta be honest, it feels cheap, but it is expected from this price point. But at the very least, everything feels well put together, as in it won't fall apart anytime soon with normal usage. The casing closes securely with a satisfying snap due to the magnet that is inserted at the indentation here. The casing also doubles up as a charging dock as well, and according to the box that it comes with, it says it has a 300 mAh battery within it. There's a very dim LED light here that lights up when you charge it, but it's so dim it's almost not visible. The earphones themselves are made from the same plastic materials. Let me take one out. And there's a button which acts as a play, pause and answer and call here. You can see, if you can hear the sound. But it's not really nice to press because the tactile feel is just off. But at least they support Siri because if you press long enough, it basically activates Siri. And there are 2 gold contact points here, which is basically the charging port. So if you place this back into the case, it will come in contact with the golden point here and basically charges the earphone. The overall build quality of the earphone is actually rather impressive. You barely see any gaps. It's very close, tight made, and if you remove the foam tip, everything is very well made, which is surprising for at this price point. So no gaps, no nothing, and it feels sturdy. And it's almost, you wouldn't hear any plastic tolerance noise when you try to pry it. Each AirDot set comes with 3 different sets of silicone rubber tip, SML, the usual, but I advise replacing them immediately with something more comfortable because their rubber tip, their rubber tip that comes with this, is really not comfortable and it doesn't really give you a full sound insulation which allows sound to leak out. Charging time, it takes about 2 hours or so to fully charge the casing and about 45 minutes to fully charge the AirDots to full capacity. And the battery life is rather impressive, to be honest. I average about 3 hours on each charge cycle, and the casing is good for 2.5 charges before it goes flat. And the charging is by way of a micro USB here, right? And please take note that the whole set does not comes with a USB micro USB wire, so you need to get your own wire to charge. Now comes the biggest consideration, sound quality. Now I'm not going to dwell into the sound quality because this topic is super subjective, but what I can tell you is the output is very impressive for its price and its size. I stream most of my musics on Spotify, and with the built-in equalizer in the Spotify set to my liking, I find that the AirDots is just only slightly behind my Sony's XB70AP. In fact, I think I would prefer the AirDots sound quality over the Sony's because the Sony's extra bass feature is really not my cup of tea, and it gives me headache on prolonged use. Perhaps my only complaint about the AirDots is its signal strength. It's bad in the sense that if you are squatting down behind a car with your device on the other side, then you start to experience intermittent sound breaking. And sometimes for odd reasons, I can also experience the same sound breaking even when the device is just in my pocket. Really strange. So conclusion, is this AirDots for you? Well, if you are looking at the AirDots, high chances are that you are not an audiophile, which means the AirDot is for you. At this price point, I cannot find any fault with the AirDots, and it is really a bargain. So if you think that you want something more elegant, more prestigious, but you have never tried wireless earphones before, then I guess the AirDot is a very good starting point because it's cheap and you can try it. And if you don't like it, it's just 60 over ringgit. You can just leave it aside rather than spending few $100, like 400, $500 for something that you may not even use anymore. So be that as it may, I think you should go ahead in getting the AirDots because everyone is moving towards wireless. So in any event, the AirDots is something that I would highly recommend you to take. So I hope this video helps you if you're looking into buying one, and if there's any question that you have in mind that I did not address in my video, post your comments below and I will get to them as soon as I can. Cheers.